Archaeology opens a window into our past, and often what we see through that window completely upends commonly held beliefs of human history, challenging everything we thought we knew about the world. So, today, we're digging up some bizarre archaeological finds that rewrote history as we know it. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel. After that, leave a comment and let us know what you'd like to hear about. Okay, time to grab your whip and fedora, and maybe an extra bag of sand. Dating around 1040 CE, a bundle of plant-based psychoactive substances was recovered from a cave located 13,000 feet above sea level in southwestern Bolivia. The Cheech and Chong-worthy stash likely belonged to a shaman of the age, containing the earliest evidence of the use of ayahuasca, a hallucinogenic tea created by the indigenous people of the Amazon basin. Among the other items discovered inside the leather bundle were wooden tablets to grind down the various plants and an ornate wooden tube for snorting the hallucinogenic mixture. So if you've ever discovered yourself thanks to this particular substance, you've got good old archaeology to thank. Discovered outside of Jerusalem in the 1940s and 50s, the Dead Sea Scrolls comprise some of the earliest texts of the Torah in existence. And while some fragments were long thought to be blank, multispectral imaging later revealed lines of text that were invisible to the naked eye. Think disappearing ink, only more scientific. The fragments currently being studied were part of the initial trove of scrolls found in Qumran, an archaeological site in the West Bank, and are verifiably authentic. At least one scholar suggested the newly discovered lines may be linked to the Book of Ezekiel, but only time will tell. Dragon Man may sound like a questionable brand of gas station firework, but it's actually a prehistoric skull found at a construction site in the Harbin area of northeastern China. Thought to be at least 146,000 years old, it might represent a newly discovered human species. The term Dragon Man refers to the Dragon River, in the area where the skull was found in 1933. Scientists said the well-preserved fossil from the Middle Pleistocene is massive, with a large cranial capacity falling in the range of modern humans. Unlike other human species, the skull has a wide, low face, almost square human eye sockets, flat cheekbones, and a shallow palate with large molars, distinctive enough to qualify as its own species. But did it breathe fire, or merely spit fire bars on a guest track? Quick, what's the oldest story in history? Adam and Eve? Gilgamesh? My dog ate my homework? Actually, it's one recorded in a nearly 44,000-year-old cave painting discovered on Sulawesi, an island in Indonesia. The mural seems to depict a game drive in which animals are flushed out of cover towards armed hunters. Seems like a pretty straightforward depiction of a hunt. But Griffith University archaeologist Maxime Aubert suggests the mural may represent a religious myth or story from folklore, as the hunters are drawn as animal-human hybrids. This may indicate the hunters are wearing masks, or that the hunters are therianthropes, animal-human hybrids commonly found in ancient paintings around the world. If the latter is the case, the mural would not only be the oldest evidence of storytelling in recorded history, but also the first evidence of spiritual belief, or possible evidence of animorphs. Millions of years from now, the only thing civilization might know about you is what it can tell from your poop. Because researchers do, in fact, use paleofeces, or fossilized excrement, to establish what humans ate in different parts of the world throughout history. Strangely, dog waste is remarkably similar to its human counterpart. However, a new AI tool allows scientists to distinguish morphologically similar human and canine paleofeces and bring new insights into the composition and functions of human and animal gut microbiota from the past. We know, you're overjoyed. The long and short of it is that scientists can more accurately study how humans' eating habits throughout history are linked to our current understanding of food and even diseases like diabetes. We're gonna take a quick break from all this history to talk about something a little personal. Look, YouTube videos can be hard. It's stressful, trying to meet deadlines, come up with new content, make sure you're satisfying your audience. And sometimes that stress seeps into your everyday life and can affect your creativity, your mood, and how much you interact with others. Luckily, it's never been easier to get some help. Today's sponsor is BetterHelp, and they make it really easy to start therapy. If you're a creator who's always on a tight schedule, you'll love the convenience of being able to fill out a questionnaire, and BetterHelp will match you with one of over 30,000 therapists on their network that is best suited to you. You can schedule therapy sessions around your production calendar, which helps you maintain your workflow without compromising your mental health. Join the millions of others who found solace and strength through BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/weirdhistory to get 10% off your first month. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Between Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, everyone knows that the ancient Greeks were a bunch of smarty pantses who invented way more things than a season of Shark Tank. But nothing prepared researchers for the Antikythera mechanism. This complex structure is a sort of analog computer with a series of gears and mechanisms allowing a user to predict the orbits and eclipses of the planets and mark the solar and zodiac calendars. The machine hails from at least 100 BCE, predates similar technology by almost 1,000 years, and has the power to serve as the MacGuffin in a mediocre Indiana Jones sequel. Public perception of Neanderthals imagines them as dim cavemen who were effectively wiped out by the more advanced Homo sapiens, despite their knack for selling Geico insurance. Modern research, however, has begun to contradict these assumptions. Well, except for the Geico part, the jury's still out on that one. One such finding is painted shells in Italy dated to a period before Homo sapiens arrived in Europe. These ornamental pieces may have been decorated by Neanderthals, suggesting these early people may have created and collected artwork. Another significant finding was the discovery of a specialized tool called a lissoir at a Neanderthal site that also dates back to before Homo sapiens entered Europe. This tool, a flexible device for crafting leather, is still in use today, suggesting that modern humans stole the idea directly from Neanderthals, like a bunch of Thomas Edisons. Skull 5, which would make a righteous band name, is a 1.8 million year old hominid skull found in Manisi, Georgia. What makes the fossil especially important is the fact that it was completely preserved as one piece, allowing researchers to carry out detailed analysis of the shape and features. The results suggest that common thoughts on human evolution may be wrong, as the skull contains details that would normally be associated with different species of early human. The team behind the study believe this indicates that early Homo species may have had far fewer separate species than previously believed. Okay, but did any of them sell Geico? Speaking of early humans, once upon a time, research indicated that burial rituals originated from more modern humans with more developed brains. In other words, the prevailing belief was that early humans weren't advanced enough to participate in rituals like funerals and ceremonial burials. But the discovery of a cave containing more than 1,500 separate fossils of an extinct early hominid in South Africa challenges this conclusion. The vast number of bones indicates their deliberate placement after death, while the fossilized skulls show the brain size would have been only half the size of a modern human's. The discovery has forced researchers to reconsider the culture and intelligence of these early types of humans. The Library of Alexandria was one of the largest scholarly institutions ever built, containing thousands of scrolls and texts from the greatest thinkers of ancient times. However, its disappearance from history led many to believe it was destroyed in a fire, possibly at the order of Julius Caesar, because he was exactly the type of dude who would do something like that. Recent evidence, in the form of scrolls written by people working in the library, reveals that it was actually brought down due to budget cuts. As library historian Heather Phillips writes, much of its downfall was gradual, often bureaucratic, and by comparison to our cultural imaginings, somewhat petty. Texts slowly fell apart or were given to other institutions, and what was left of the library's collection was likely destroyed in 642 CE. Someone must have really wanted out of their overdue book fee. Cats are puzzling little creatures who share our homes without paying rent, and the mystery of how they became domesticated has long puzzled researchers. Previously, the earliest evidence of domestic cats came from ancient Egyptian art reaching back approximately 4,000 years. An archaeological discovery in China changed this view, though, with feline remains showing that the animals lived in close tandem with farmers in the area. The researchers believe that the cats came to the area due to an infestation of rodents that were eating farmers' grain. And over time, cats and humans became closer due to the mutually beneficial relationship they developed. Presumably, once pest control became more sophisticated, cats adapted to their new role of keeping household surfaces clear of unnecessary clutter, like glassware, important documents, and priceless heirlooms. Historians generally agree that Australia was discovered by James Cook in 1770, but the people who got there before him would like to have a word. Turns out, a series of archaeological finds over the past decade shed some doubt on the nature of Cook's achievement. Chief among them is a collection of 5 African coins that are more than 900 years old. Found in the Northern Territory of Australia, these coins may indicate that Australia had visitors long before Cook arrived. Combined with other evidence, such as cave art and other coins, this may mean that traders from Africa, India, China, and Europe all reached Australia long before he did. More like, no, chef. You know that feeling when you think you know everything about an ancient culture and then you discover a gigantic stone carving that reveals a bunch of new information and you feel really embarrassed at the next anthropology meeting? Well, such a carving was uncovered in Guatemala in 2013, giving archaeologists a new perspective on Mayan culture. This massive facade featured entirely new gods that archaeologists had never heard of before. It also contained new information about how power transferred from particular groups of Mayans to others as new kings took control. And the carving's condition was remarkable. The wall even contained some traces of its original colorful paint. The commonly accepted belief among paleontologists is that humans began settling into permanent locations and building cities around 10,000 years ago. But no one apparently told that to whoever built the giant Neolithic structure known as Göbekli Tepe, located in what is now Turkey. Constructed more than 1,000 years earlier than most anything else like it, Göbekli Tepe is a stunning marvel of engineering that features giant T-shaped monoliths, pitying any fool who walks near. It is believed to be the world's oldest temple and suggests that humans were building permanent settlements and were aware of the letter T much earlier than previously thought. So what do you think? Which of these discoveries surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from Our Weird History.